All motivation podcasts are strictly based on opinion. Any facts given should and will be backed up by a source. If a source is not given, then it should not be taken otherwise.
Now I'ma I get it until my numbers call. Till I'm just a name and a memory on my homies' wall. I be moving on, I'm trying to just build my dough up. Till I'm just a snake my toes up.
Hello and welcome, motivation inspired fans, to this new episode. I am the host, Curtis Moore, aka Curly Mo, or you can call me Mo. And it has been a while since I have recorded a new podcast, and a lot has been going on in my life. The reason why it's been a while, and I didn't know how I was going to do this episode today. Because on one hand, I told you I wanted to get into my series that I've been excited about. And on the other hand, after everything that's been going on and still going on in my life, I wanted to talk about that. So what I have decided to do is I have decided to do a special today so that I could get all of that in. I think that you want to hear all of this. And if you don't, then I apologize. I will pick back up on the next episode. But anyway, I want to go ahead and get into it because I want you to know what's been going on, not just in my life, but in the world around me, and hoping that I'll be able to inspire you or motivate you if you have had any of this happen to you. First off, I want to discuss recently there has been destruction going on around in my life and at my hometown. There has been a lot of tornadoes, and a tornado hit Amory, Mississippi, and it did actually hit my hometown too. It wasn't as much damage as it was in Amory, but the reason why it's close to home to me because it's actually close to home. My mother and my auntie and my brother and nephew, they was actually in the tornado. My uncle, and nothing happened. They're okay. The houses is okay. It knocked down some trees, my hometown road, and it did destroy one of our neighbors, close neighbors. It destroyed their house, but they're okay, thank God. And I give God the praise on that. But the sister town, Amory, is so messed up. It looked like, as I was telling people, that somebody built several sandcastles and just came through and just kicked it all. It is bad. Some people that are friends of mine and their families and some of my families lost some things. Damage, had a lot of damage. It doesn't look the same. And I want to keep everybody involved in the tornado in our prayers. As far as I know, nobody that I know has lost their life or was hurt. So I want to give God the praise on that. When people don't understand, this happened to my hometown some years ago. An EF5 tornado came through and demolished my hometown. Luckily, it was a mile away from where we lived, so we didn't get any of the damage then. But you'll never forget that sound that a tornado makes. You'll never forget it. To me, it sounds like a churning sound, and with a mixture of, as people say, a freight train. The eeriness and the stillness of the tornado right before the tornado hits is so scary. We didn't expect it because a tornado don't normally hit in our area. But now that times have changed and the atmosphere has changed and stuff, it hits the area. So it was just, I can't put into words the feeling of that. You never forget that. You'll never forget that. The damage that it did was just unbelievable. It did more damage this time than it did when it hit our hometown them years ago. And my hometown is Smithville, Mississippi, just in case people forgot. And there was a lot of tornadoes that hit that day. And it was the same this time. But it was just one tornado, just you could tell it didn't go up for miles. So, I mean, I'm keeping the family in prayer. If you ever experience something like that, all I can really tell you is that sometimes you got to just, I know it's hard because when you see something all your life, like there is a gas station, Exxon station, that has been up for 25 years. It has been up for 25 years and it is totally demolished. Buildings that I've seen for years that's been up, totally demolished. When you see something or have seen something all your life and all of a sudden it's just wiped away, it's no feeling. I mean, even just simple trees is no feeling in the world. It's hard to imagine. It never is the same. Smithville was never the same after it got hit with the EF5 tornado those years ago. Even to this day of driving down there, it feels still a little odd. I done gotten used to it now, but it still feels kind of odd. And you'll never really just get used to it being like that. So when in those times though, you can't look at the damage and you can't look at the heartbreak. What you got to look at, I mean, yes, it's bad. But if nobody lost their life, things can be rebuilt. No, the memories can't be rebuilt, and what happened in those buildings as you was growing up can't be rebuilt. But things can be rebuilt. Sometimes, like when my mother's house burned down, God gave me a word, and He said that sometimes He wants to get us better, and in order for Him to bring us better, He sometimes we got to get rid of the things that's in the way. Sometimes He allows things to happen to get rid of it so that we can get better. Now, if you don't believe in God and you believe in the universe or whatever you believe in, then it's fine. You know, whatever you believe in. The main point I'm trying to get across is sometimes things have to be moved out of the way so that better things can come. So, but I mean, I believe in God and I already know that He takes care of me. So sometimes you just got to allow things to happen so that better things can come through. Now my mom, that house that burned down, yes, we had a lot of memories and I'm missing that house and everything, but that house needed some work done to it, a lot of work done to it. It needed some things. My mother needed some new things, and you can never get those things back. But now the place that she got is even better. The house that she had before didn't have central air. This one has central air. It's bigger and wider. When we have family dinners, we actually got a lot more room than when we had in the house. So a lot of things has changed and a lot of things is better. So don't look at it as, oh my gosh, I done lost everything and just stay down. Look at it as, well, that just makes room for other things to be replaced. That next thing for other things to be replaced. Now, to get into what's been going on with me personally. Now, I do apologize if you haven't heard from me. I apologize to everybody. I'm not being funny. I promise you I'm not. I know people haven't heard from me and people all the time asking, why haven't you talked to me or why haven't you said anything? What's going on with you? Just a lot has been going on. And I wanted to kind of tell people what's been going on. So probably at about October, I had started back working out, and I had decided that in wrestling, I was going to try to go another year or two, even though I haven't retired. and I'm not doing another retirement match. I'm going to just bow out one day when I just bow out. I had decided that I was going to, I won the championship. So I decided that I was going to take those 1 or 2 years and I was going to work out and I was going to get into this shape so that I can go and make it a good 1 or 2 years or whatever. But being a wrestler, we get a lot of bumps and bruises, and sometimes we get injuries that we don't even realize that we have. And so in working out, one day I started noticing that I had a knot on my elbow. And I said, well, I had a wrestling match, so maybe I busted it up in wrestling match. It'll probably eventually go down because I've had a lot of them before. And then another time, probably about in November, I started noticing that my inner thighs had like knot on both my inner thighs. It was soft tissue, and I thought, well, maybe it's where my muscles had atrophied because I hadn't worked out in so long, and maybe I just need to rebuild my legs. It was soft and everything didn't hurt, so I just didn't think nothing about it. So, I started noticing my limbs and my necks were swollen. And normally when they're swollen, it's swollen for a couple of days. And then it goes down because of sinuses, sinus infection, cold, whatever. So I didn't think nothing about it. Well, they wasn't going away. And by December, they still wasn't going away. And I started noticing they wasn't going away. And as you know, I moved up to South Haven in September. So I was just like, well, I need to find a primary doctor because my blood pressure stayed up too. It was high. It was up to stroke level. So in my search through December up into January into February, I was looking for a primary doctor, asking around. Now, to be honest with you, I wasn't like pushing to find a primary doctor because I really don't like to go to the doctor and I didn't want those type of bills to stack up on me. But as I started noticing not going away and I started looking things up, you're not supposed to look things up on the internet because you never know if it's true or not. So, and it could psych you out. But I did anyway. So I'm not a person that worries. Not worry real big or anything. Whatever happens is supposed to happen, and there's a reason for it to happen. But I started thinking, well, I think I might want to get this checked out. So I started asking around for primary doctors. Well, long story short, and I'm going to try to give you the shortest version I can. In February, I was at work, and I asked one of my co-workers, who is what they call a PA, did she know anything about a doctor? She told me to go to AmCare, which is like a nurse's center at work. And she said there's a woman that's an EMT in there, and she can refer you to good doctors because she knows pretty much all of them around the area. I said, okay. So I went and I explained to her what was going on, and I started also noticing some symptoms too. And I'll get into that in a minute. But I told her what was going on, and she had referred me to a doctor's office. I had already went to one. Well, let me just say this real quick. So I had went to urgent care in January, and at urgent care, they sent me to the emergency room because my blood pressure was high. I went to the emergency room. The doctor in the emergency room basically told me that it was mono. And I'm like, mono? But I hadn't been kissing on anybody. I hadn't had anybody to kiss because mono can only be passed through the saliva. She said, well, if you drunk after somebody that had it, then you probably got it there. I was thinking the only person I possibly could have drunk after was my daughter because she was visiting then. So I said, well, maybe that. But she didn't have mono. And she said, well, she might have just been a carrier. But anyway, I went to another primary care doctor to get a follow-up. And let's just say they was the craps. I'm not going to even get into it because they made me so mad. But anyway, the EMT referred me to a doctor's office that is amazing. My doctor's name, Dr. Visconti, and went there, and he has basically given me all these specialists that I have to go to. Because he says that he's not going to be one of those doctors that just diagnose and treat, diagnose and treat, diagnose and treat. No, he's going to be a doctor that whenever I'm out of his care, that I'm going to be 100% healthy. He wants to find the source of the problem. He wants to find what it is, and he wants to take care of it. So while I was at AmCare, she decided to check my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 201 over 133. She said, you definitely need to go see the doctor and send me back to work. I went back to, yeah, I know, send me back to work. I went back to work, told my manager, everybody was pissed. So they sent me back to AmCare and told me to check it again. And if it's high, I need to go. So I went back and it was 208 over 136. Yes, that's way beyond stroke level. So I went to the emergency room, and that's what they did, the diagnosis of mono, and it's been crazy. I went to the doctor the next day, and he had tried to get my blood pressure down. Anyway, I went to see all these specialists, the cardiologist, nothing's wrong with my heart. My heart is healthier than a horse, as they say. Looks like I have a teenage heart. My cholesterol is fine. I ain't diabetic. You'll be happy to know that I am STD free. Thank God. I know that sounds bad, but I mean, I'm just saying. But they just know that I have high blood pressure. And they couldn't figure out what these knots was up here for. Obviously, they're lymphs. They're called lymph nodules. Lymph nodules. If you want to look it up, you can, but they're basically the enlargement of your lymph nodes. And it could be several causes. And I don't want to get into them because you're not supposed to look things up on the internet. And what you look up, you might turn around and say, "Oh my gosh, you got this," and I don't want to speak that into existence. So basically, I went to see a hematologist, and they did a biopsy on me. And the results of the biopsy is gonna be in this week. When I went for a follow-up after the biopsy, the doctor did say that it looks like a form of lymphoma. He did say that. He said, but because I'm so stable, because I haven't had an excruciating amount of weight loss, or I'm walking around healthier than a horse. He said that it shouldn't be bad at all if it's that. He said it may not be that. It could be just a simple little blood disease or something like that. He said it should be easily treatable, whatever it is, once they find out, since I'm stable. He said, or it could be not so easy to treat, but it still should be treatable. So I had that going on. The symptoms that I have is extreme exhaustion. I could get extremely exhausted just all of a sudden. When I walk steps, I get real bad shortness of breath, or if I walk pretty fast or run, I get real bad shortness of breath. It feels like something filling up in my lungs, and I can't catch my breath. That's why I had to quit working out, because I could not catch my breath. Extreme exhaustion, shortness of breath. I got very bad dry mouth. I could sit there, be fine. All of a sudden, my mouth goes completely dry. My sinuses goes completely dry. It's hard for me to sleep at night. Just several different symptoms going on that's causing me not to work. And he had put me on medical leave off of work up for about since February that day. So February 13th was the last time that I have worked. So it has been crazy. And basically what it is, they did a CAT scan on me and all of my lymph nodes are enlarged. I got these knots all over. I got them all in my chest. Reason why I can't breathe so good. The reason why you probably hear me wheezing now. I can sit there, be talking pretty good, and all of a sudden get out of breath. I got them all in my stomach. So y'all just please keep me in your prayer. But the thing about it is, when you have something like this, you're going to want to get nervous. You're going to want to give up. But the best thing to do is realize that you're stronger than what you are and nothing going to hold you down. He's not going to hold me down because the way I look at it, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We're eventually going to die. Now, I'm not saying that I done gave up or nothing. No, I'm not saying that. But you got to look at it as, listen, this done hit. Now, if there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can do. If there's something we can do, just do what we can do. The stronger that your mind is, the easier for your body to beat whatever it is that's causing it. So that's the way I look at it. And I ask for prayers and thoughts and all of that, not because I'm worried, but because I know that this thing is going to work out one way or the other. So just keep me in your thoughts and your prayers. Anything that you could do to help, I will be grateful for. Because like I said, I had worked since February. It don't look like I'm on work. The doctor extended my medical leave to June the 1st. So looks like I'm going to be out for a little while. So y'all just kind of keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, yeah, I do get short-term disability, but that's only half of my pay. And on top of that, they take out taxes and my child support. So really and truly, whenever I bring my check home, it may be enough to put gas in my car and get some food, but that's about it. So y'all just keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I thank y'all for listening to my story.